Hey, I'm Tori Delori, and I've been traveling in vehicles for the last 8 years and living full-time in vans for almost 4 years. For the last 6 months, I've been living in this unbuilt camper living in Vegas, but I haven't really explored much of the area, so today we are changing that. So I'll be showing you what a typical travel day looks like living in a van. We are back. It is currently 86 degrees, and whenever it's hot outside the van, it's always hotter inside the van. And why don't we have an air conditioning unit? Well, because this week I messaged a few different companies for quotes on how much it would cost just to install the air conditioner, not including the unit, and $2,000. So yeah, that's why we don't have an AC yet. Alright, so today we are going on a little bit of an adventure here in Vegas, and I'm very excited to get back out into traveling. And yeah, so we're on our way now to our first stop, and we're gonna play a fun game on the way. And the game is, I set up the back of the van so that nothing falls when I drive. But how much did I miss? How much did I miscalculate? What is still going to fall? All right, here we go. I heard a few things slide. Living in your van, it's like the van is an extension of your body, and you can feel everything that happens to it. It's so strange. Like, I'm so attuned to everything that the van needs and every sound it makes and what's normal for it and what's not normal. Crazy van life, people. So our first stop today is to a youth professional gambling addiction center, where here in Vegas they start training kids young on how to use slot machines and gamble away all of their parents' money on prizes worth 1/10 of how much they spend. Welcome to the Pinball Hall of Fame. The world's largest collection of pinball machines, started by the Las Vegas Pinball Collectors Club, which I thought was actually going to be more of a museum, but it was really more of just an arcade. And also, look at the way they painted these handicap parking spots. I think it is so cool. I love it. So our first step today is to throw away all of our hard-earned money to play games we could play on our phone for free from the comfort of our bed, but we must remind ourselves that we are adventurers, and adventures seldom happen on your cell phone laying in bed. So, alas, here we are. I found it in me to part with a whole $3, but by the end of this trip, I actually was hoping to come back and bring a friend, because I actually ended up loving it so much. These games range all the way back to the 1950s, up to the 1990s, and even there's a new one that's Stranger Things, which was the hit of the arcade. But there actually aren't any ticket collectors or redemption prizes. This place is for playing pinball just for the fun of it. It's maybe not a casino preparation daycare, but also wait until one day these kids are going to find out there are prizes, so just wait for that. But at least they give these kids windows and clocks, right? Like, unlike those casinos. And at least here you can rest easy knowing that the money you're spending per game is actually going to a good cause, since this museum is actually a non-profit who donates all the excess revenue to non-denominational charities. The owner is super set on keeping this museum as a place of fun and never a place of profit. He says as soon as you enter a profit mindset, it will cease to be fun. He said places like this have no real economic reason to exist, and that a money mindset would have the company less focused on keeping their games up and ready and repaired, and more concerned on how to save each penny. I genuinely love that. I think we need more of that in the world. That's also a very van life mindset, and the thrift store down-to-earth vibes in here seems like it makes it a great place for kids to come and hang out with friends and just be kids and be safe and relax. It's like being transported back to the 80s or to the set of Stranger Things, hopefully minus the Demogorgons. Speaking of Stranger Things, the #1 game that everyone was playing and there was even a line for was indeed the Stranger Things pinball machine, so I knew I had to give it a try, and of all the ones I played, this was easily my favorite. I even got the Demogorgon to eat my pinball. It was probably also the newest machine they had here, but what says Pinball Arcade more than Stranger Things, you know? I remember watching the last season when they're all playing in the arcade, thinking it was so cool and a great place to be with friends and just feel like a kid again, and now here we are, doing it in real life.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Ekans, which was such a great option to get. I love Team Rocket. Honestly, this whole place just had so much nostalgia. I also found this Terminator pinball machine, and it had an amazing quote on it that was, "There is no fate but what we make for ourselves." And wow, is that true. Just some deep philosophy just right here in the middle of an arcade. It's the best lessons that we can find in some of the most unexpected of places. and sometimes the worst. For example, this stool that says, "Get high on Pinball." But my favorite typo in the whole museum was easily this one. Fart Wars. Am I 27? Am I 7? I don't know. But whoever made that nameplate is hilarious and an absolute legend. And I had just enough quarters to play one more game, so I chose The Hobbit, the obvious choice, because not only can you see in these videos I'm actually wearing the Ring of Power, but I'm also a huge fan of the world building in this series, so I inserted my 4 Tolkiens, which, yes, is a great pun, and I was so proud of myself when I came up with that. But I actually did really well on this games, and I had just a lot of fun, and I would have played it all day. Really, I want to play more. I'd take all my money. You see, this is where the addiction starts. You can see it happening in real time. It is hot. What's the worst? When you're in traffic and you're trying to leave a safe space, that way if anything happens, you can stop in an appropriate amount of time, but then someone pulls into your safe space. Over and over, every time you leave a safe space, someone's like, "Oh, for me?" and they take it. And someone takes it when there's not quite enough room and you have to slam on the brakes. Remember that game we were playing? Nothing will make your heart stop quite like the split-second heart-shattering feeling that you're gonna crash into somebody and you're gonna lose your home. So, I'm just gonna deep breath real quick. It's honestly pretty bad. Everything slid forward and my suitcase even opened up. And that's about it. Now you've seen the arts district. I don't know what else to show you. I'm not usually like a spontaneous travel type. I usually plan everything out, so I'm just not really like a vibe and oh my god. What is ninja karaoke? I'm intrigued, not gonna lie. You're thinking to yourself, that was such a nice parking lot. It was free, it was open, you know, it was safe. Why aren't you gonna sleep there? Let me show you why. I am not going to sleep there. Ever. You can't. I've tried and it's just living hell. Anyway, so there is one place I bike through almost weekly with the bike group, but have never walked around and have actually been able to stop and see and experience, and that is Fremont Street and Container Park in downtown Vegas. Almost never leave the van at night, but this is a very important thing I need to show you. You're thinking, is it worth your life? And I'm thinking, yes. Yes, it is. My mom is watching this disagreeing right now, but just suspense, wait for it. Let me show you this. If you're wondering why it's called Container Park, it would be because it is quite literally made from containers. Also, if you're coming here to visit, there is a daily drum circle where they actually awaken the praying mantis before it torches fire for the first time that day. Also, if you're wondering what this fine establishment possibly could be, it's just some nice people dancing to techno. How sweet. And with that, welcome to Fremont Street and fabulous downtown Las Vegas. This is one of those heart attack grills where if you weigh over 350 pounds, you get to eat free. All right, we're gonna do it. It's for fun. Solid. Everyone wants to go in public and put their weight on a giant display. I'm sorry, is this man an alien? How does he weigh -1 pounds? For everyone to see. Unfortunately, I won't be getting any free food today, but as per usual, you actually have to buy a drink with it, so it's not really free now, is it? And one of my favorite things about big cities is street performers, and there were so many here on Fremont. Also, the giant screens above head were super cool. However, as a New York City girl, one of the trippiest things to see here was that people actually waited for the sign to tell them that they could cross the street. No one was trying to dodge in between cars. There was no one in the road, and they would just all stand there and wait, and I was so weirded out. So tonight my plan is to stealth camp a casino here in Vegas, which is actually pretty easy. I just need to find one with free parking, no parking garage, open area, open 24 hours. There was a lot of options. There are a lot of casinos in Vegas. I will say it's been very sad hearing people just think that when like, oh, you're in Vegas and like just casinos and drinking, and I'm like, no, 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 no. Fire grasshopper. Praying mantis thing, you know, pinball museum, like all these weird things that are just so great. And it's sad that Vegas gets a rap of just being gambling and casinos. I say as I'm going to a casino right now, but I haven't ever gambled, and I lived here for 3 months. I've loved it. There's nature. I just think Vegas may be one of the greatest places in America to live, outside of the prices. It's really not. This is also why I love van life. When I lived in New York City, I never would have been able to afford New York City rent. The same way I could never afford to live here in Vegas with rent and housing prices, but because I live in a van, I can live in these crazy places that I love and wouldn't be able to do otherwise. And so, love van life. Definitely has its days. I'm not really tired. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22, and maybe I'm feeling a little bit lucky, and should we go gamble? I have never gambled before. I have no idea how to gamble. Am I gonna watch a how to gamble video on YouTube right now? Maybe. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. It's 1 a.m. Who cares? All right. Budget for today. $15 total. I don't want to do it. I'm tired of spending money on games where I just press a button for 5 seconds. Do it for the vine. So what are we not going to do today? Become a gambling addict. That's our only goal. So if you watched my last video, you may know I'm actually on somewhat of a bad luck streak. And as my Patreon know, as we talked about in our weekly live stream, I think I might be cursed at this point. I wrote a full list of this curse out in one of my posts on Patreon, and it was actually really depressing. Like, gosh, it has been getting bad. And to add on to the curse from the last video, since that was recorded, my vehicle's AC has overheated and doesn't work anymore. And someone for the very first time in my 3 years of van life tried to actually break into my van and was trying to get in the door handles at 2:30 in the morning. So I don't know why. I have no comprehension of why I thought I was gonna get lucky. Gambling was definitely not the answer. But I tried, and yeah, I managed to turn $5 into 26 cents. And I'm pretty sure most of that is just what was left behind from the $5 that I couldn't reach the allocated minimum betting price. So yeah, I decided just not even try the other $10. Yeah, I feel no allure to ever do that ever again. And if you're also traveling full-time, did you know you can charge your phones right here in a casino for free? Maybe for breakfast we'll bring a $5 bill in, but I didn't have it in my heart to spend that $10 on pressing a button. Just not in this economy. Not in this economy. So now we are going to stealth camp here for the night, which is going to go really well. I have a good feeling about it. There's other RVs here, it's other campers, and yeah. Alright, and here we go again into our typical nighttime van life routine. And I actually want to talk about something that Lyndon, one of my patrons, said to me last week on that post I was talking about where I was discussing my bad luck curse. And it's completely changed how I view van life and my entire current living situation. For the first time since being out west, I have met other van lifers, but most of them have honestly been van builders, and so their vans are top-notch, thousands and thousands of dollars. Everyone has everything perfectly figured out and clean and organized, and I get super self-conscious of people seeing my van and seeing the way I'm living and knowing I'm sleeping on the floor using my refrigerator as a table. I think my situation is a bit odd because I did have a perfectly built-out van and I actually went backwards, so I know what living in that is like, but lately I've started to feel like I'm actually homeless, and I know I'm not. I know I'm very grateful for everything that I have, but that's part of the reason I got a fridge and the bathroom unit, and I'm thinking I'm going to move back east to finish my van build in my parents' driveway, or maybe even rent out a workspace, because I've just come to realize how much this is affecting my mental health. But then, what Lyndon said to me in that post was that what I'm experiencing and what I'm doing is rebel van life. The real rebels out here who don't have thousands of dollars to install every little piece of their van. They're having to do it themselves. They're putting cold towels in their fridge because it's so hot to be able to cool themselves down, and using Walmart fans, and just the ones who are making it work, the ones who are innovative and are not afraid to get their hands dirty, not afraid to live in imperfection. And so you just become excited about the traveling and the potential, and know that there's so many things out there and that you don't need all of life's finest luxuries to live a great life. And I realized that I was looking at everything all wrong. I was being embarrassed, and I was entering the mindset of, oh my gosh, I feel homeless and I don't want anyone to see me like this. And I realized, no, I have for the last 6 months been in the most true base level of van life. I've been with the rebels. Back when I was car camping and living in my car, I wasn't looking at other people's rigs and thinking, I'm so embarrassed. I didn't even know what van life was. I was simply living and thankful for everything that I had and enjoying the puzzle of learning to be adaptable with what I had and where I was. I think so much of being successful at van life is mindset and having grit and perseverance like no other. And it will absolutely teach you those things. But I think maybe part of that too is being a little bit of a rebel. So thank you, Lyndon, for reminding me of that this week, and I'm excited to relook at van life from this new outlook. Luckily, I only spent $1 today because I didn't even make enough in these 2 days to be able to cash any of it out. But I wasn't actually coming in here for that, I just had to use the restroom. Also, going back to how I'm going to be kinder to myself about my living situation, I've also decided I'll be moving back east to live with my parents to finish this van build, or I'll be looking for a shop space in the Southwest. So if you know any good shop spaces, I would love to hear about them. And on that note, I'm now heading out to the desert to work on my next building project, which of course, because I have a bad luck streak going on right now, goes absolutely, catastrophically, horribly wrong. And well, pepper spray explodes in my van and I can't sleep in it. So if you want to see that vlog, it'll be coming out soon. Thanks for watching, everyone.